The longest winning streak in the nation is over after the Florida Gators dropped their first ever matchup against High Point 7-2.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day we are available daily and free, whether it's the podcast and on YouTube. And this episode of Locked On Gators is brought to you by FanDuel. College basketball is nonstop, big games, tight spreads, momentum swings every night. From early tip-offs to late-night West Coast shootouts, there's always action on the board. And now FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into even bigger potential wins with a college basketball parlay profit boost. You can build any college hoops parlay you want, rivalry games, ranked matchups, whatever fits your read. Go safe, go bold, ride with the team you've been following all season. It's your parlay, your style now with more upside behind it. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel. Play your game. And the Florida Gators had the longest winning streak in the nation going into Friday's game against High Point, which was their first ever matchup, and dropped it 7-2 in a game where, look, neither team necessarily was lighting up the scoreboard, right? In the sense of the hit column, I'll say. All right, like neither team was lighting up the hit column there. Both teams had 7 hits. Big difference there, though, is that Florida walked 7 batters. I didn't even introduce myself. I'm Brandon Olsen, host of Locked On Gators, lifelong Florida Gators fan. Find my written work with swampsignal.substack.com. Now that we've got that through, the Florida Gators, what's up, Connor? The Florida Gators lost to High Point. Season-long or nation-leading 13-game win streak comes to a screeching halt as the Florida offense couldn't muster up anything. And yeah, it was some ugly stuff, right? You had Brandon Olsen hit a home run in the 6th inning, and that was pretty much it, right? And in the 3rd inning, Kyle Jones score on a ground out, and that's it. Those are your only runs. That's it. Florida just couldn't get going with anything offensively. Wade Walton threw a freaking gem. And I mean, look, Florida got walked by Wade Walton once. He also only struck out 4 hitters. Like, one of the biggest differences between Wade Walton and Liam Peterson, which obviously outside of Liam Peterson only going 5 innings and Wade Walton going 7, is that there wasn't this big discrepancy between how many pitches they threw. Right? Wade Walton threw 13 more pitches. Wade Walton threw 11 more strikes. Okay. The big difference, though, is that Liam Peterson had 11 strikeouts to Wade Walton's 4, which, like, with Liam Peterson having 11 strikeouts, that means that you're throwing at least, let's say they're all strikes, 33 pitches there, not including any fouls, not including any balls thrown, which Liam Peterson did walk 4 batters in this one. But really, it was an inability to get on base consistently for Florida, and an inability to field bunts. Like that's really what did Florida in here. It was just, and look, like, in terms of actual errors, none by either team. No side had an error. But again, one big difference was that Florida, first off, gave up a few bloops, which is just baseball, right? Like there's a reason that if you're an MLB fan, you can go to baseballsavant.mlb.com and you can see, hey, they had a launch angle of whatever degrees and an exit velo of whatever degrees, and they'll tell you, okay, well, when you do that, you have a batting average of, 245, this many of home runs, this many are doubles, this many are singles. Like, baseball is You can just hit the ball the same way, right? But sometimes it just breaks differently. It happens in baseball all the time. And for Florida, things didn't break their way at the plate. For High Point, they did. Right, again, like a few bloops, couple bunts, decided a lot here. And also just again, like I mentioned, like there were no legitimate plays that are going to be marked as errors in this one. But you can look at that guy like Eli Blair who ended the game for Florida, and Eli Blair, was it? Or was it Hoyt? It was Hoyt. Might have been Jackson Hoyt. That didn't cover first after a bunt and led to things not going. It was Eli Blair. It was Eli Blair. I got it. Eli Blair with Jackson Hoyt's runners on, and didn't cover first after a bunt, led to the inning not ending where it could have. Which also just I'm gonna say on that same bunt that I'm talking about, it was just an absolute incredible effort by Colton Schwartz from second to run it down, and try to make the play. Didn't make the play, but try to make the play. I will give you credit for effort. Florida ended up avoiding the midweek upset that we've seen so many teams fall victim to earlier this week, but the Friday game got them, and that just is just one of those very unfortunate things, right? And like we spoke about on, was it Wednesday? Either Tuesday or Wednesday. Like we spoke about, like I think baseball might be the most any given day sport. I know that the saying is usually reserved for football of any given Sunday or any given Saturday, but I really think baseball might be the most any given day sport you have. Right, Liam Peterson, 5 innings, 1 hit, but 4 walks, 11 strikeouts, 2 earned runs. It's like they weren't getting hits off of him at all. They weren't, more often than not. They were striking out. Like, think about it this way: 5 innings pitched, 15 outs. Right, 11 were strikeouts. They weren't hitting him around. Right, it was the 4 walks. It was a ground ball. That's it. A wild pitch scored a run. Like, that's it. It wasn't like High Point just went out there and kicked Florida's ass. The scoreboard says it, right? 7-2. But that's baseball, right? Like I said, it's I think the most any given day sport you can have. We'll talk more about this game and then this upset for Florida, which honestly was a brutal look. Like, it was just a brutal game to watch. Which, by the way, they will play again, High Point, tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern and on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. We'll talk more about this game when we get back with Locked On Gators. It is tax time, but for a lot of us, the old way of doing taxes is a lot, right? Trying to book an appointment that's not the most convenient, sitting in a waiting room with a stack of papers, emailing back and forth, and wondering if they really get your situation. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade. Intuit TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide, so you can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert, and your documents get uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot. And just like that, you're done. Your TurboTax expert works to get you every dollar you deserve while you get real-time notifications as you go about your day. It's the relief of walking in and meeting a real person and walking out knowing your taxes are being handled right. Head to turbotax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment. And welcome to the 5-hour energy flavor draft with 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like confetti craze, fruity rainbow, or cotton candy. There's something for everyone. The board is set, the flavors are ready, and I've got my number one pick for the 5-hour energy flavor draft. All right. I made sure, we went through the combine. We had our We had our medical checks, we had our interviews, we made sure that everything was going about as well as it could, right? That things were going clean. And through all that process, we decided, we're going to go with not just the most talented, but also high character. We're going with grape. Find your new favorite flavor of 5-Hour Energy shots available online at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. Thanks again for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day we are available daily and free, whether it's the podcast and on YouTube. And the Florida Gators had 7 hits today, or I guess tonight. Again, like High Point getting Wade Walton for 7 innings is huge for you. Again, he was just dealing. It was crazy that the amount of balls that got put in play, but were not hits for Florida. It's a lot, right? Like we mentioned, Liam Peterson he got 15 outs and 11 of them were strikeouts. Wade Walton got what? 21 outs and 4 of them were strikeouts and still allowed 6 hits. One of them was a home run. It's also how he allowed the run that he earned. And for Florida, like 3 of Florida's 7 hits came from Landon Stripling, right? Which not exactly a great sign that it's like, hey, by the way, 3 of our 7 hits came from our 7 hitter, right? Ethan Cerwick, nada. He got walked one time, but as far as hits, nope. Carson Bowen, 1 hit. Brandon Olsen, 1 hit, and it was the home run. Kyle Jones with 1 hit, and it was his last at bat, if I'm not mistaken. That's it. Like Florida just couldn't get anything going consistently at the plate. And it's tough because like I want to go like, oh yeah, work the count a little more. The only way you could have worked the count better was more fouling. I didn't feel like they really swung at bad pitches. I think Wade Walton just threw a freaking gem. I said, would it be nice to say, hey, Liam Peterson had some more run support? Yeah, it would. Right? It would. It'd be nice to say that. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. And unfortunately, Florida just couldn't muster it up at all. Offense wasn't there in this game, right? I think that's the only thing you could really say is that, hey, like for a team for Florida that has been pretty damn good, right? Pretty damn good. You scored what? 7 in your last outing? 4 runs the game before that, 8 runs the game before that. Like, you've had a pretty solid offense this season. Didn't get going in this one. And again, like I was talking about earlier, like baseball is just one of those sports where things can just not go your way sometimes. And I'm not saying that to be an excuse, right? Like I don't want that to come off like I'm going, oh, like, things just didn't happen to break their way. But it is true that in baseball, like you can make great contact on a ball, but it just doesn't fall your way in this one. It's not always about purely, like skill. There's a little bit of luck to it. And for Florida, just it didn't go your way. Pitching, Liam Peterson, good game. The 4 walks definitely didn't help him, right? Especially pitch count wise. Wild pitch later on didn't help. Like Florida went 6 deep in their rotation. It was the first time Jackson Barberry, who's been pitching, I mean, just so well every time that he's gone out there. First time that he didn't look awesome. I got a hard time being super mad about it, especially this early in the season, like still figuring things out. Is it great? No. Is it fun? No. It also, frankly, wasn't a very fun game to watch in that one. But this was again, this was the first time since really all season that Jackson Barberry didn't pitch great. 3 hits, 3 earned runs, a walk. Wasn't a great showing for him. Wasn't a great outing for him. But prior to that, he's been dealing this year, right? He had what, 1 earned run allowed the entire season before this. tough to fault him too much. Tough to crush him there. Florida gets caught. I don't know what the stealing is that what it was? Is that what you were going with? The message just ended early. I'm assuming and accidentally pressing enter. But yeah, I mean, look, Florida gets caught trying to steal bases. Yeah, got caught there. Look, both teams had 7 hits. Florida had the lone home run with Brandon Olsen. Florida had more total bases. Walks got you, and not being able to field bunts got you. Not being able to properly field bunts got you. Florida had more runners left on base. That's it. Florida had more strikeouts pitching-wise. Like, the big difference, Florida walked 7, High Point walked 2. Florida didn't field bunts, High Point didn't have to. Things like that just, it's like, and yes, a caught stealing there. Baseball is the highest variance sport in the history of mankind. Yep, absolutely. I don't know if you're, yes, I know you're saying that because we've talked about it, but yeah, like I said, like it's the more any given day sport compared to football or basketball. It is. It's just like anything could happen there. One dude could just be dealing. One dude can rake a little bit. And like Wade Walton, hell of a game for him. 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Hell of a game. Not going to take a single thing away from that. Was a gem. Like, he's going to get to go, yeah, by the way, my team played Florida in the first ever matchup between the two schools, and I lit it up. Like, you get to say that. Who was it? It was Ponce and Kelly for High Point also batting. Great outings for him. Like, I get it. I'm not happy, right, with the loss. Sometimes baseball just happens. Like, that's it. It's tough for me to throw because it's not like, again, like I mentioned earlier, it's not like Florida was crazy undisciplined at the plate. I don't think they were. I think you put a lot of balls in play. Things just didn't go your way. It's why BABIP is a stat that people follow. Batting average on balls in play. That's how high variance baseball is. That BABIP is a stat people follow and people track. Stuff like that just doesn't go your way sometimes. And for Florida, that was today. I'd rather it happen earlier now against High Point than when it's, SEC play. Personally, and that's how I'd rather go. Florida gets their chance to get their get back, I guess we'll call it, tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Then hopefully tomorrow win that game, and hopefully Sunday rubber match, hopefully win the series 1 p.m. Eastern time. And then Florida State is the one midweek game next week, next Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, and next week South Carolina. Gonna be a doozy. Thanks for being Locked On Gators, your first listen of the day. Every day we are available daily and free with the podcast and on YouTube. As always, I am Brandon Olsen. Find all my written work with swampsignal.substack.com. We will be back tomorrow. I think we're going to do a basketball preview, and then we'll go live after the regular season finale against Kentucky. Hopefully belt ass in that one. Hopefully. I am Brandon Olsen. Follow me on Twitter, WNS_Brandon. I will see you all next time.